we must always keep the element of surprise on our side. What are you doing here? I might ask you the same question. Have you ever wondered if behind the dazzling lights and playful images of 1960s Batman, there existed another Gotham, one full of secrets, disputes, and darkness? A show that seemed nothing more than flamboyant entertainment where Batman once went surfing against the Joker, actually concealed backstage. Stories so dramatic they could make Gotham's villains tremble. These were the days when Burt Ward, the young actor behind Robin, endured such public harassment that he nearly had to take pills to shrink his sensitive parts, or the political secrets hidden beneath, ensuring Batman could never keep the darkness it was born with. What was it that terrified the actors so much while filming the Batman series, and what horrifying truths lay beneath the comedy of this hit program? In this video, we will unveil the 10 darkest secrets of the 1960s Batman series, revelations that may forever change the way you see this so-called television legend. Music 1. Batman almost became a television tragedy. In the mid-1960s, America was sinking into shadows. The Vietnam War blazed across television screens every night. Gunshots that took the lives of John F. Kennedy, Malcolm X, and then Martin Luther King Jr. shattered the heart of a nation. People craved something lighter, a breath of escape from suffocating reality. Yet, at that very moment, a television project was conceived, and it nearly became the death sentence for the greatest superhero icon of all, Batman. When the first test episodes aired, ABC's Batman felt like a funeral of a Gotham, grim and merciless. A Dark Knight brooding, battling Joker and Penguin as if emerging from nightmares. But instead of being captivated, audiences recoiled. The survey scores plunged to rock bottom, hitting some of the lowest numbers in ABC's history. The entire crew froze. Batman, the hero just brought to the small screen, faced being killed off after only a few breaths of life. Inside ABC's closed-door meetings, the air was thick with gunpowder. The television bosses slammed their fists. Either change, or Batman would be cancelled. The ultimatum was delivered like a blade pressed against the throat. And at that moment, one unexpected name entered the gamble of life and death. William Doyer, a producer who had never even touched a comic book. No one expected Doyer to be the one to alter fate. He pulled in screenwriter Lorenzo Simple Jr. for a daring gamble turned Batman from tragedy into satire. Instead of darkness, they chose camp. Flamboyant, ironic, exaggerated humor, every punch and kick exploded with comic book pee and bam, splashing across the screen. Ridiculous bat gadgets like shark repellent spray became legendary. Adam West stepped out in his blue gay tights, half serious, half parody, transforming Gotham from hell into a bizarre stage where audiences could both gasp and laugh. And then the miracle happened. Audiences erupted. Children, adults, even scholars. All were swept into the whirlwind now called Batman. ABC held a cultural phenomenon in its hands, and Batman rose again as a living icon. But this was only the beginning. You won't believe how brutally the actors were treated behind the scenes. 2. The deadly set working conditions from hell. Behind the vivid frames on screen lurked a horrifying truth. The set of Batman was a battlefield riddled with danger. The one who paid the highest price for this glamour was Burt Ward, the young man barely in his 20s who donned the Robin costume. 2 audiences. He was the boy wonder, brave, energetic, fighting side by side with the Dark Knight. But backstage, Ward lived every day walking the razor's edge of death. Ward's filming schedule was insane. 34 episodes shot in just 4 months. Every day, he stepped onto set. It wasn't to act, it was to risk his life. Tear gas effects were used recklessly in Joker and Penguin scenes, leaving him choking eyes, burning, coughing until his throat tore. Many times, Ward was rushed to the hospital for oxygen only to return and be met not with protection, but the producer's cold words, keep shooting. Hospital bills are cheaper than hiring a stuntman. The set became a testing ground for cruelty. Stunts on the Bat-Cycle rooftop, rope swings, explosions, all performed with almost no safety precautions. Once Ward nervously asked about the direction of a blast, only to be snapped at. Don't worry. If anything happens, the hospital will take care of it. He once crashed a vehicle, tearing open his wrist and bleeding heavily. But after a few sloppy bandages, he was shoved right back in front of the cameras. Even Adam West, the man under the cowl, wasn't spared. He had to stand dangerously close to explosions, inhaling smoke and fire with no protective mask. The entire cast was turned into pawns on a producer's chessboard, their health and blood sacrificed for production schedules and a few saved dollars. In the glossy picture, the public only saw laughter fights and battles with supervillains. They never saw the blood spilled backstage, never heard the choking coughs from toxic smoke, never knew how often explosions detonated just feet from the actors. You think that's the worst of it? Not even close. The next truth is far darker. 3. Batman and Robin's tights once caused a public uproar. At the time when Batman premiered and sparked a craze, a little-known fact is that the series ignited a bizarre storm of controversy, all beginning with the skin-tight tights worn by Robin and Batman. While America outside was going wild with rock and roll, free love, and the counterculture movement, Television was still the family dinner table where parents and children sat together to watch wholesome programs. But when Batman and Robin appeared in skin-tight costumes revealing the contours of their bodies, an earthquake erupted. The National Legion of Decency, the infamous morality police, immediately fumed, denouncing it as indecent and intolerable. At the center of the storm was Burt Ward, the young Robin. His green tights were scrutinized down to the smallest detail. Furious letters flooded ABC, denouncing that bulge as an insult to American morality. In his memoir, Boy Wonder Ward revealed that he was forced to wear double underwear, tighten ballet straps, and was even once suggested to take shrinking pills to appease the public. He flatly refused, but the pressure at that time was suffocating. Adam West, the man who played Batman, also came under scrutiny. To balance with his co-star, he was asked to stuff a handkerchief in his pants. This only highlighted the sick obsession of the entire television industry with false morality. The producers, fearing censorship, had to build an entire system of camouflage. They filmed from behind, let the cape drape overused, dim lighting over sensitive areas, all to distract the prying eyes of critics and voyeurs alike. What do you think of this truth? The sexual harassment between actors was still not as shocking as the frightening wage gap of the 1960s, for the shocking pay gap among the actors. On the surface, the cast salaries seemed fairly high. Adam West, who embodied the Dark Knight, pocketed $2,000 per episode, an astronomical figure for television at that time. Following him were M. Blake and Alan Napier, each earning $500. Stafford Rep and Neil Hamilton were not far behind, with $450 per episode. But then when looking at Robin, a crucial, irreplaceable character, the second hero in every episode, the truth revealed a blatant injustice. Burt Ward was paid only $350. A young Robin risking his life in action scenes, enduring real accidents and dangers. Yet his pay was so meager, it shocked everyone. Ward's only crime: he was an unknown face, a young man with no powerful background to bargain with Hollywood. And so, amid the spotlight, he became the poorest hero on set. Part of the low wage was because William Doyer often made sudden decisions, hiring legendary names like Burgess Meredith as the Penguin or Cesar Romero with his immortal Joker smile. Each chose stirred up the press, excited audiences, and cost a fortune. One fascinating fact, and is that the off-screen narrator, the one who ignited every episode with dramatic lines like, "Will Batman escape this deadly trap? Tune in next time," was not some random voice. After auditioning many candidates, but finding none crazy enough, Dozier claimed the role for himself. Under the chilling pseudonym Desmond Doomsday, he became the series' Phantom, a voice both dramatic, haunting, and satirical. Yet his real identity was completely unknown. To Dozier, no one could do it better. To audiences, it was an anonymous voice, seeding mystery, making the name Desmond Doomsday echo as if it were a real character, a metaphysical observer in the Batman universe. But it didn't stop there, because Doyer devised a dirty trick. 2 casting sessions were needed to choose Batman and Robin. Music 5, The Dirty Trick. 2 auditions to decide the actors for Batman and Robin. Batman and Robin were not determined from the start, but had to go through 2 auditions. The first audition unfolded like a courtroom trial. 2 finalists stepped forward: Adam West, a mediocre actor only known for a Nestle's Quick commercial. Opposite him was Lyle Wagner, a handsome, muscular man, seemingly straight out of the comics. The room fell silent. When Wagner read his lines, he exuded cold strength. The perfect Batman. But then West stepped up. He performed with such seriousness that it became laughable. And it was precisely this ridiculous seriousness that struck the spirit Dozier was searching for. Then came the second audition. The search for Robin. The door swung open, and a 20-year-old young man entered. Burt Ward. He had no acting experience, only a black belt in Taekwondo and raw energy. He looked clumsy in his green tights, but when he stood next to West,